The story starts with a sad moment at a funeral. Subaru's parents had just passed away in an accident. A few days later, he meets Kawase at a crowded cafe. Kawase brings him some books to help with writing and tries to push him to talk to more people. Subaru quickly notices that Kawase chose this noisy place on purpose, hoping it would make him interact with others. Surrounded by noise and strangers, Subaru gets annoyed. He gets up, tells Kawase to stop getting involved in his personal matters, and walks away. As he leaves, he starts thinking about his childhood. Even back then, he liked being alone. While the other kids played outside together, he would stay by himself with his books. People used to make fun of him and bully him, but that never made him change. Later, Subaru goes to visit his parents' grave. He quietly thanks them and places a can of fish in front of the stone. Then a stray cat suddenly shows up and surprises him. For a second, he feels scared, but then realizes the cat is just hungry and smells the food. As he watches the cat eat, something about its face makes him think of his mother. He knows it isn't real, but his mind starts to wander. This strange moment gives him a new idea. A mysterious cat enters someone's life. He decides this will be the theme for his next story. He contacts Kawase to share it. Kawase gets excited and asks him to send a draft by the end of the month. Subaru looks at the cat again and begins to imagine it as something odd, with secret reasons behind its actions. Then he sees the cat looking out the window. He follows its eyes and sees another cat outside. This makes the idea grow. Maybe the cat has a partner from another strange place. As he begins writing, he hears his friend Hiroto calling his name. In the kitchen, Hiroto is helping himself to food without asking. Subaru gets irritated and wants to know what's going on. Hiroto explains that someone stole his wallet. There was a fire at his place and his parents are gone. With nowhere else to stay, he came over to Subaru's house. Just then, the cat walks into the kitchen. Hiroto is surprised because he didn't think Subaru was the kind of person to have a pet. Hiroto gets emotional and says he's happy for Subaru, but Subaru tells him to leave. Later, Subaru gets a box full of books about cats. Kawase sent them to help with his research. Subaru doesn't like it though. He feels like someone is messing with how he works. When Kawase calls to check on him, Subaru loses his cool and yells. After the call, he notices the cat staring at him closely. While thinking about that, he steps into some food on the floor by mistake. Subaru probably shouldn't ignore a cat that's up to something. His brain kicks into overdrive, cooking up some wild scene of the cat laying a trap just to mess with him. He runs with that idea, throws it into his draft, and keeps cleaning up the chaos. While picking up one of those books Kawase sent, he stumbles on something weird. It says when a cat brings food, it's not just some random act. It means they trust you, like they see you as their human. He shuts the book, locks the door, and goes right back to writing. Kawase calls again, but he brushes it off. He's locked in now, hammering away at the keys deep into the night, pouring every ounce of himself into the story. Then, something pulls him out of his zone. He glances back. There's the cat, walking in with a full bowl of food. His stomach's been running on empty all day, but when he tries to stand, his body just quits on him, and he hits the floor. Next morning, he wakes up and finds Kawase hovering, face full of worry. Kawase didn't hear back for hours and broke in through the window, tells Subaru to go see a doctor. Subaru's still pale and weak and spots the empty bowl nearby. He mumbles about what it means when someone brings food without being asked. Kawase lays it out plain. It means someone finally cares. Then he walks off like it's no big deal. Now it flips to the cat. She's thinking about how one meeting can flip everything. Her mind drifts back to that day at the grave, when Subaru gave her that can of fish. She remembers he didn't eat anything himself. Her family once told her, eat to live, but also look out for others. From that day, she makes a choice. She's gonna return the favor. Bring him food too. First time she tries, nerves hit and she drops it. Subaru just tosses it away and she gets mad. Couldn't get why he'd waste something like that. But she doesn't stop, keeps trying, finally pulls it off, brings him a whole bowl. But when Subaru opens the door, he crashes again. The cat freaks out, thinking he might fade away just like her family did. But Subaru gets up, eats, and she watches him close, heart finally calming down. Her new mission: feed the human before he starves trying to write stories. Subaru scribbles something in his notes, then knocks out again. The cat curls up next to him, guarding the space, soaking in his warmth. Back to the present. Subaru's dragging himself toward his room. The cat trails behind, but something inside her says it might be time to go. He doesn't even look back, and the quiet hits hard. She feels like she's not wanted anymore. Then Subaru's in the kitchen, digging around for a fish can. She catches the scent, darts in like lightning. While chomping down, her thoughts shift. Maybe she'll stay. Subaru watches her eat and starts thinking, why would a starving cat bring him food? Then that thing Kawase said hits him again. Maybe she really cares. He makes up his mind right there. That cat's not going anywhere. She's staying. This is her home now. Subaru's at his desk, ready to get started. But his cat's passed out right on top of his laptop. Classic cat move, since he needs that thing to work. He tries to move her real gentle. She twitches a little, and now he's tense. When she finally wakes up, he tries again, but she just crawls right back on top and knocks out like nothing happened. He thinks about using food to pull her away, heads to the kitchen, checks the cupboard, nothing left. No cat food at all. So he grabs his phone, since the laptop's still occupied, and places an order online. But the delivery says 2 to 3 business days. No way he's waiting that long. So he throws on some clothes and heads out to find food himself. Hits a store nearby, hopes they've got what he needs, but nope. No cat food in sight. He grabs some bread and wonders if cats can eat that, but it feels off. As he's walking out, he spots a pet shop down the street. That gives him a bit of hope, so he walks in. But the second he steps inside, the noise smacks him in the face. Too many animals making a racket. He's already regretting it, but he keeps going and heads for the cat section. Now there's a new mess. Way too many choices. A shop worker named Okami walks up to help. She asks the usual stuff, name, age. Subaru gets it twisted and gives his own info. So she thinks the cat is a 23-year-old grandpa and hands over senior cat food. Subaru's standing there confused. Then it clicks. He tells her the cat doesn't even have a name yet. Okami laughs a bit and says, since they live together, might as well treat her like family and give her a name. Subaru finally grabs the right bag of food and heads out. Just then, Kawase calls. He's got good news. The readers are loving Subaru's latest story. Then Kawase brings up the cat, asks if she's got a name yet. Subaru's already on edge, tells him no and doesn't plan to. Kawase doesn't get why he's so grumpy and says the readers need a name to really connect. That's when Subaru realizes he wasn't talking about the real cat. He meant the cat in the story. Subaru ends the call real quick, says he'll call back later. Back at the house, Hiroto swings by. No one answers, so he lets himself in through the back. First thing he does is grab a sausage from the fridge, but he's not just here to snack. His mom made extra food and he brought some over. While inside, he spots the cat. She takes one look at him and bolts. Looks like Hiroto didn't make the guest list. He shrugs, leaves the food on the table, and heads out. Back on the street, Subaru walks home, deep in thought. He wonders why a name is even necessary, especially for a cat that doesn't understand human language. Along the way, he sees people calling their pets by name. He also sees a happy child playing with a dog. When Subaru gets home, he sees the cat has moved off the laptop. He quickly starts working. After some time, he needs a reference book. He opens a reference book box and finds the cat sleeping inside it. He doesn't understand why she chooses such strange places to sleep. He starts thinking more seriously about names. Since he must name the cat character in his novel, maybe he can give the same name to the real cat too. But being a writer makes him overthink that a name should match the personality. He struggles to find the right name for the cat. So he tries a new method and starts saying random names aloud, hoping the cat will respond to one of them. But the cat doesn't react at all. Time passes, night arrives, and the cat remains uninterested. At one point, she even throws a book at Subaru. Subaru feels like giving up. Then he notices an old book titled Sun and Moon. A memory of his mother reading it to him hits him. Softly, he speaks the name Haru. The cat suddenly reacts and walks toward him. Subaru gets surprised as it seems the name means something to her. Haru then starts looking for food. Subaru realizes he forgot to give her the packet he bought. He opens the packet and Haru eats quickly, clearly hungry. Later, when he gets ready to go out again, Haru brings the empty packet to him. Subaru understands she liked the food and tells her that he will bring more for her. When he says Haru again, the cat reacts to him. Subaru smiles as, for the first time, he feels a real connection. As he walks out, he remembers Okami's words about Haru, that they are like family now. Now the story shifts to Haru's point of view. She loves the name Haru, as it sounds nice and warm. She's curled up on the laptop, loving its warmth. She found this spot first and doesn't plan to move. When Subaru tries to make her leave, she resists and goes back to sleep. When Subaru finally gives up and leaves, Haru feels proud. Later, Haru wakes up hungry. She goes to check that the bowl is empty. She hears a noise and sees Hiroto eating a sausage. She's afraid he might take her food too, so she hides in the storage box again and falls asleep. In her dream, she's walking around hungry. A kind little girl named Haru finds her and feeds her often. In the cat's mind, Haru becomes a word linked to food. She's still dreaming when Subaru opens the box and finds her. She thinks he's interrupting her peace again. Later, Haru hears Subaru saying strange words. They don't make sense to her. She gets annoyed and knocks over a book. Then she hears the word Haru. That word triggers her memory. She remembers the kind girl from her dream and expects food. She runs to Subaru and sees him holding the food packet. She eats the food right away. When she brings him the empty packet and hears Haru again, she connects the word with more food. To the cat, Haru doesn't mean her name, it just means food. When Subaru leaves the house, Haru gets confused. She wonders, why isn't Subaru bringing her more food already? Later that night, Subaru returns with more food, and Haru eats the food happily. As Subaru watches TV, Haru hears her name repeatedly coming from the screen. She jumps in front of the TV, excited and playful. Haru's tearing through the room like she's on some kind of mission and ends up bothering Subaru. Out of nowhere, she leaps onto his stomach, knocks the wind out of him, then takes off again. Next thing he hears is a loud crash from the other room. He gets up and heads over, finds the place wrecked. Now he's had enough and snaps at Haru. She backs off, a little shaken. While cleaning the mess, Subaru hopes she feels at least a bit guilty. But when he checks on her, she's just chilling like nothing happened. His phone rings, and it's Kawase. He says he wants to chat and throws out the idea of meeting at some new cafe nearby. Subaru knows what this is, just another trick to drag him outside. So he says no, they can just talk over the phone. Suddenly, he hears a bunch of noise from the backyard. He looks out and sees cats everywhere, like his backyard turned into a mini zoo. Kawase hears it too and asks what's going on. Subaru tells him a bunch of cats have been showing up lately. Kawase gets all worked up and says he's coming over right now. After the call, Subaru picks up an old photo of his parents. Memories hit him hard. He always liked staying in with his books and didn't care much for going out. Even when summer came around, he'd stay home while his parents packed up for trips. They always tried to get him to come along, but he'd never budge. Now in the present, Kawase shows up. First thing he does is start looking around for the cats. Subaru tells him they probably ran off after hearing his loud entrance. Kawase looks a bit let down, but quickly switches gears and tries again to pull Subaru to the cafe. Subaru brushes it off and walks back to his room. Kawase follows, and that's when he spots Haru. Subaru mentions she's been living there recently. Kawase lights up and jumps straight into playing with her. Subaru stands to the side just watching, wondering what people even see in cats. Kawase throws out the idea of holding all their work meetings at Subaru's place from now on. Subaru refuses, but Kawase explains that since Subaru hates going out and phone calls don't work well either, this is their best option. Hearing this, Subaru finally agrees. They sit down and get some work done. After a while, Kawase leaves. But from that day on, Kawase starts visiting Subaru's house every day. Subaru becomes annoyed and questions him if he even has a job. Kawase casually replies that he brings his work with him. Subaru gets irritated and reminds him that he should be doing his editing work at the office, not at his home. Kawase then opens up and tells Subaru that he loves cats, but his wife is allergic to them. That's why he can't keep one at home, and he visits Subaru's house to play with Haru. He also encourages Subaru to try playing with Haru too. But Subaru admits he hasn't even touched her yet. He didn't even bring her home. She just followed him one day and stayed. Kawase gets frustrated and scolds Subaru for ignoring such a cute cat. As he tries to pet Haru, she gets terrified and scratches his face. After Kawase leaves, Subaru returns to his desk to work. Haru silently watches him from behind. Suddenly, she jumps onto the table and scatters his papers everywhere before running off. Subaru sighs and tries to begin again, but he finds out that his ink has run out. With no extra supplies, he heads into his parents' room to search for some ink. This is the first time Subaru has entered his parents' room since they passed away. While Subaru searches, Haru walks into the room too. Subaru knows she'll create a mess, and he's right. In the middle of all the chaos, Subaru ends up finding one of his mom's old photo albums. She used to snap pictures everywhere they went and would stick them in albums like trophies. Flipping through it, he starts to notice every place she captured is also one of his top spots. Then that memory hits, his parents' accident. They had asked him to join them on a trip that day. He turned them down, told them he'd come next time. Thinking about that tears him up. He breaks down right there. While he's crying, Haru quietly comes over and gently taps his face, like she's trying to wipe away the tears. Tiny paws doing therapist work on the low. Subaru doesn't expect it. For once, he feels like someone actually gets what he's feeling. He slowly reaches out and pets her. Haru, on the other hand, feels something warm inside, something soft she never really expected from him. Now it flips to Haru's side. She's darting around the house like it's go time because she spots two strange spirits floating around. She thinks they're after her food, so she's ready to throw hands, or paws. She even jumps on Subaru's stomach to shield him, since those floaty creeps are getting too close. While chasing them off, she rushes into another room and ends up knocking stuff over. When Subaru yells at her, it shakes her. She's never heard his voice that sharp before. Later, Subaru walks into his parents' room. Haru follows, still on alert. That's when she sees those spirits again. She's convinced they're going to hurt him, so she starts knocking things down again, trying to scare them off. After a while, she notices Subaru crying. The spirits are still hanging around his head. Reminds her of when crows used to mess with her the same way. So she jumps in front of him and starts growling, trying to scare them off. Eventually, they vanish. Haru stands proud. As far as she's concerned, Subaru doesn't need to cry anymore. She's there now. She's got his back. Subaru gently pets Haru again. Both of them feel calm now. Their loneliness starts to fade. They sleep peacefully beside each other. While resting, Haru senses the spirits one more time. But this time, they don't feel terrifying because they are Subaru's parents. They smile kindly at Haru and silently thank her before leaving. Suddenly, the doorbell rings loudly. Haru panics and runs away. Subaru wakes up due to the doorbell. He goes to check the door and finds Kawase standing there, completely soaked from the rain. Kawase says he was calling Subaru but didn't get any reply. He got worried and came running through the rain to check on him. Subaru finally understands how much Kawase cares about him. Just then, Haru shows up there, and Kawase starts playing with her. But this time, Subaru doesn't get annoyed. Instead, he asks Kawase to feed Haru. Kawase happily agrees, and Haru finally accepts the food offered by Kawase. Subaru's chilling with his book, all calm and cozy, until Hiroto shows up, out of nowhere. Before he can even process that, Kawase pops in too. Subaru's not really in the mood to hang out, but somehow he gets dragged into it anyway. Both of them clearly came just to see Haru, but she couldn't care less. She walks off like they don't exist. While they're chatting, Kawase starts poking around, asking Hiroto how long he's known Subaru. Hiroto throws it out there, 10 years strong. Then, out of the blue, Kawase flips the mood and starts going off about Haru not having a collar. Subaru brushes it off, but Kawase won't let it go. He starts getting loud, going on about how if Haru runs off, she won't know her way back. Someone might scoop her up and dump her at some sketchy shelter. After all that noise, Kawase bolts, saying he's got work. Subaru and Hiroto head to the pet shop. Subaru realizes he's been there before. Once inside, the store clerk Okami spots Subaru and greets him. Subaru gets all stiff and awkward, mutters that he's there to buy a collar. Hiroto looks stunned. He's never seen Subaru hold a full convo with a stranger, especially not a girl. He bounces, mumbles something about cleaning his place, and dips. Okami walks Subaru over to the collars. She tells him it's cool that he's getting one, but not every cat is into collars. Even if they look the same, they've all got their own thing going on. She tells him to check if Haru's okay with it. Then she asks what Haru looks like. Subaru tells her Haru's a tuxedo cat, black and white. Okami smiles and says she's got one like that at home too. Just then, a new customer steps in, so Okami leaves him to pick one out. Subaru grabs one without thinking, but then stops. He remembers how his mom used to always choose stuff with care, made sure it was something that made him happy. That memory hits different, so he slows down and actually takes his time. He finally picks one out that feels right. While he's in line, this old lady behind him starts chatting. Subaru gets a bit awkward, but ends up telling her Haru causes all kinds of chaos at home. She laughs and tells him her cat used to be wild too, back when she was younger. Now she's chill most days, unless it's vet time. However, Subaru admits he has never taken Haru to the vet. Okami overhears their conversation and scolds Subaru, warning that stray cats can carry diseases. She gives him a vet's address, a cat carrier, a new collar, and other supplies. Soon, Subaru goes to the vet hospital with Haru. The doctor checks her and reports she looks healthy, but is a little overweight, which can cause heart problems later. After that, Subaru starts thinking about Haru's weight. He doesn't think he feeds her too much, so why is she gaining weight? Then he hears two women talking nearby. They mention that stray cats often overeat when they finally get food. They don't know when their next meal will come, so they eat too much to survive. Subaru realizes that due to his busy work schedule, he feeds Haru big meals all at once. She eats it all and still acts hungry, so he gives her more. Now he understands that Haru is overeating because she is scared of not getting food later. Right then, Subaru's name is called at the vet. As he goes to the front desk, he sees Haru looking terrified. A dog is barking nearby Haru. Subaru quickly picks her up to calm her. The dog's owner, a lady from his neighborhood, apologizes to Subaru. Subaru feels awkward and leaves quickly. Subaru gets back home, just about to step inside, when the shop girl from earlier shows up. She lives nearby and walks over. She brings up the vet visit. Subaru tells her Haru's doing fine, just a bit on the chubby side. Okami says her cat went through the same thing. Without thinking, Subaru asks how she dealt with it. Then it hits him. She's off work, and maybe he shouldn't be asking stuff like that, but she doesn't mind at all. She offers to give him some advice, says she'll share more tomorrow, then heads off. Inside, Subaru remembers the collar still sitting there. He tries to put it on Haru, but she keeps dodging like it's a game. After chasing her around, he gives up and pulls out the big weapon. Food. Bribery wins. Haru creeps closer for the snack, and while she munches away, Subaru slips the collar on. She stares at it for a second, then goes right back to eating like nothing happened. Subaru lets out a breath, finally feeling like that went well. Now it flips to Haru's view. She's at the vet, all thrown off. Place smells weird, and nothing feels safe. Another cat nearby looks completely panicked. He tells her this isn't his first visit. Then someone takes him away, and the poor guy starts crying from the next room. That sets Haru off. She wants to bolt too, but then she remembers Subaru and how she's got to keep him safe. But once she's in the room with the vet, everything inside her just gives up. All that bravery disappears. Her mind drifts back to her time on the streets, how people always chased her away like she didn't belong. She starts thinking Subaru might be the same. Then, right outside the vet room, the neighbor's dog shows up. He spots Haru and remembers her. Brings up Subaru's mom, the sweet lady who used to live at that house. Haru acts like none of that matters, like she's done caring about humans. But the dog tells her something different. Vet visits aren't bad. They mean someone's actually looking out for you. He shares that a vet once helped him walk again after getting hurt. The dog tells Haru that Subaru truly cares about her. That's what family does. Haru asks what family really means. The dog says he doesn't fully know either. But in his house, they all care for one another. And that's what makes a family. The dog tries to cheer her up. He even tries to open her cage so she can play. Who knew a barking dog could be the ultimate motivational speaker? Just then, Subaru comes back and picks her up. At that moment, Haru feels it deep inside. Subaru really does care for her. Back home, Haru sees Subaru looking at her. She thinks he's going to catch her for something, so she gets ready to run. But Subaru uses food again and manages to put the collar on. Haru hears the little bell attached to it, and remembers a beautiful street cat she once saw with a bell. That cat looks so elegant. Haru now thinks the bell makes her look elegant too. She becomes happy and starts jumping around proudly. But the bell rings too much. Saru gets annoyed and takes it off. Haru feels sad and wishes to wear it again. Okami arrives at Subaru's house to check on Haru's health. She wants to see if Haru is gaining too much weight. Haru walks in right on time, and Okami takes a good look. She's surprised that Haru isn't as overweight as she thought. In fact, she claims Haru might reach her ideal weight soon. But Subaru is still worried. He shows Okami how he feeds Haru. He simply fills up a bowl with food and Okami gets shocked. She points out that cats don't know when to stop eating. If they're given more, they'll just keep eating. She explains that portion control is very important. Haru should eat only a fixed amount of food every day. The changes need to be made slowly, not all at once. Also, Haru should stay active and do some exercise. To help with that, Okami takes out a small plastic bottle with a hole in it. She puts some food inside and places it in front of Haru. The idea is simple. Haru now has to play with the bottle to make the food come out. This way, she feeds herself and exercises at the same time. Haru quickly figures it out and starts working for her meal. Subaru watches and feels amazed. Okami pulls out her phone and starts showing Subaru pictures of her cats, Roku and Hachi. Roku used to be chunky but now looks way better. Subaru notices Hachi looks kinda like Haru. Okami laughs and drops a line about pets picking up their owner's habits. That hits Subaru a bit. He starts thinking about how he acts like his dad without even trying. Makes him wonder if Haru ever thinks about her own family too. Later, Okami leaves, and not long after, Subaru spots her house key on the floor. Haru's already made it her new toy, batting it around like it's hers. Subaru figures Okami will come back to grab it, but then he remembers how she's always running around doing stuff for other people, so he grabs the key, ready to return it himself. Only problem, Haru's got it in her paw, like she owns the thing and won't let go. Subaru ends up picking her up and heads out. On the way, he runs into Okami. He tells her what happened and how Haru refused to give up the key. Okami takes a look and says the strap's stuck in Haru's claw. They go back to her place, and luckily, she gets the door open. Once they're in, Haru hops down and starts exploring like it's her own house. Doesn't take long before she spots Hachi. The two stare at each other for a bit, then start playing. At first, it's all cute, but then Haru suddenly bites Hachi on the neck. Saru panics, thinks it's a fight, and moves in to stop it. He slips and faceplants right onto the floor. Hachi bolts. Saru tries calling Haru, but she just ignores him like usual. Okami comes back and tells him to relax. Haru wasn't picking a fight, just giving Hachi a bit of cat attitude. Totally normal stuff. Then Okami calls Hachi, and he rushes over to her like she's the queen of the house. Saru watches and realizes something wild. Hachi actually listens to her, while Haru treats him like background noise. Okami explains that cats don't understand human words, but they understand emotions. If he calls Haru with feeling, she can feel that energy. Subaru decides to try and calls Haru with emotion. To his surprise, Haru walks over to him. Love works in mysterious ways. Now, the story shifts to Haru's point of view. Recently, she notices that more humans are visiting the house. When Okami arrives, she chooses to observe and understand what's going on. Later, a strong smell of food catches Haru's attention. She follows the smell around the house, but can't figure out where it's coming from. Eventually, she spots a bottle that has food inside it. Haru works hard, using all her effort, and manages to get a small piece out. Okami gently pets her, and Haru slowly begins to feel more comfortable around her. After taking a nap, Haru wakes up and notices the house key lying on the floor. As it smells familiar to her, she refuses to let go, even when Subaru tries to take it back. Soon after, Haru finds herself inside Okami's house. Inside the house, Haru meets with her younger brother Hachi. The moment he sees her, Hachi becomes excited and runs straight to her. Haru feels a mix of emotions and gently bites him on the neck. It's not a sign of aggression, but her way of scolding him and comforting him at the same time. Hachi explains everything to her. Okami found him, brought him in, and gave him a new home. Haru feels a wave of peace, knowing her brother is fine. Then she hears Subaru calling her. She assumes it's time for food, but Hachi tells her something different. Subaru is calling her by name. He shares how Okami is always happy when Hachi responds to her. Maybe Subaru would feel the same way if Haru reacted to him. Haru watches Subaru carefully, hesitates for a moment, then slowly walks toward him. Subaru gets stunned and overwhelmed. Hachi turns to Haru and says he was right all along. Haru gets irritated and claims that Subaru wouldn't survive without her. She needs to stay with him and make sure everything is okay. To Hachi, his sister is a strong and noble protector. Just then, Subaru starts to stand up, but before he can regain his balance, the door suddenly bursts open and knocks him back down. A tall man named Yugo, who is Okami's younger brother, appears at the doorway. He looks at Subaru lying on the floor and demands to know what's going on. Yugo doesn't recognize Subaru and thinks he is a suspicious person. Without thinking twice, he grabs Subaru by the collar, but Okami quickly runs in and clears up the situation. She tells Yugo that Subaru is not a suspicious person. He is a customer from the pet store who came to visit her. She scolds Yugo for his behavior and tells him to apologize. Yugo listens to her and bows down to apologize in a respectful way. Then Okami properly introduces Yugo. He is her younger brother and is still in high school. Subaru is shocked to know that Yugo is still a student. He thinks Yugo looks very mature and older than a school student. Okami then goes inside the house to get a pair of scissors, leaving Subaru alone with Yugo. Both of them sit quietly without saying anything. Soon, Hachi comes over and starts playing with Yugo. Subaru watches them and slowly starts to feel that Yugo is not a bad person after all. After that, Okami comes back with the scissors and uses them to cut the keychain to free Haru from it. Yugo looks at Haru and compliments her as a cool cat with a cool name. At least someone in this room knows how to talk to cats. Subaru remembers what his friend said earlier. Hiroto said Haru looked scary, but Kawase said she was cute. Subaru realizes that people can see the same thing in very different ways. Suddenly, Subaru sees a magazine where his work got published, sticking out of Yugo's bag. Yugo takes it out and starts talking about how much he enjoys reading that story, including a cat. Okami joins the conversation and becomes very excited. She explains that it is a thriller story about a killer cat. Subaru then realizes that Okami and Yugo are talking about his novel. Then, Yugo recommends the novel to Subaru, not knowing that he is the author. Subaru stays quiet and listens, feeling unsure of what to respond. Subaru remembers in his childhood he always wanted to talk about the books he liked and share them with others. But no one ever did the same for him. Now, for the first time, someone is recommending a book to him. Feeling overwhelmed by emotions, Subaru quickly picks up Haru, says goodbye, and walks out of the house. Later, Okami runs after him. She's worried that Subaru left because he was upset by Yugo's behavior earlier, but Subaru reassures her it's nothing like that. Okami feels relieved and tells Subaru he's always welcome to visit again, and next time he should bring Haru along too. On the way back home, Subaru starts thinking about everything. He realizes he never really wondered if people actually enjoy his stories. He never asked himself whether his writing means anything to the readers. But now, for the first time, he starts to think seriously about it. As a cold wind begins to blow, Subaru carefully wraps Haru in his coat to keep her warm. Now the story shifts to Haru's point of view. At Okami's house, Haru feels uneasy. This isn't her home. She knows this is another cat's territory. In her past, entering another cat's space usually ended badly. It made her nervous and scared. Then, the house cat Roku sees Haru's worried face and gently tells her not to worry. He says she's safe here. Hachi runs straight to Yugo and starts messing around with him. Haru sees how big and strong Yugo is, and she gets worried he might hurt Hachi without meaning to. But Roku just chills and says Yugo's not like that. Next thing, Roku jumps in and starts playing too. Haru didn't expect that from him. She always thought he was all serious and tough, but now he's acting like a soft fur ball. Haru still wonders why Roku's even helping her. They barely know each other. But Roku tells her since she's Hachi's sister, that makes her part of the crew, and that's enough. That word, family, sticks with her. She's heard it before, but never really felt it, not like this. Later, Okami shows up and takes off the chains stuck in Haru's paw. Haru looks around and sees Roku, Hachi, Yugo, and Okami just messing around, laughing, enjoying themselves like they've always been together. Watching all that, something starts to click in her head. Maybe this is what family looks like. Then Subaru picks her up, ready to head back. Hachi tries to stop her from leaving, but Roku tells him it's all right, she'll be back. While heading home, Haru starts remembering the day she and her 4 brothers were dumped. Woke up in a box, freezing and scared. Some human walked by, and they hoped he'd help, but he didn't care. In fact, he looked at them like trash and walked off. Not long after, a dog came charging, and they had to run like crazy. That night, all 5 of them curled up, shaking and trying to stay warm. That's when a female cat named Tora showed up. She wasn't too friendly at first, asking what they were doing in her space. But once she saw how small and scared they were, she changed her mind and helped. She led them somewhere safer, even though another cat, Kuro, got pissed. He didn't like sharing. Tora told him the kittens wouldn't take his food, and that was that. Tora became their mentor, taught them how to survive, how to fight, where to find scraps. She told Haru, the oldest, to watch over her brothers no matter what. When Haru asked her why she was helping, Tora just said she felt like it. She also said one day, everything would change when the right human showed up. One time, Haru almost stepped into a nasty pile of trash, but Kuro stopped her, told her that's where the crows hang out. After that, Haru started seeing him a little different. Maybe he wasn't all bad. Maybe he just didn't know how to show he cared. Later, the kittens spotted a group of humans having a picnic. Haru warned her brothers to stay away, but 2 of them had already run up to the people. Tora told Haru not to worry. The humans were kind. Haru wonders if she would ever find a human of her own, a real family. The next day, while escaping from crows, one of Haru's brothers fell behind. Tora and Kuru stayed back to protect him. Haru fled with the other 2 brothers. One day, Haru left her brothers alone while she searched for food, but when she returned, one was attacked by a crow and the other one was missing. Now, in the present, Haru reflects, she once believed she lost her brother forever, but today, she met her brother. As Subaru gently wraps her in his coat, Haru begins to feel if she stays with this human, she might finally find her family. The next day, Kawase visits Subaru. He teases Haru a little, but then hands Subaru a large bag filled with fan letters. These letters are from people who love his novels. Subaru starts reading them, and the letter from Yugo stands out among all. Haru is sleeping peacefully. Meanwhile, Subaru sits with Kawase, who shows him different cover designs for his debut novel. The first volume is officially released now, and Kawase is super excited. He explains that most readers are teenagers, which is why the covers have that young and colorful style. But there are too many great designs, and Kawase can't decide which one to choose. Subaru thinks it's a waste of energy to stress over something like this. He feels that choosing a book cover shouldn't be a big deal. Then, out of nowhere, Kawase tells Subaru that he has arranged an autograph event for him. This is Subaru's worst nightmare, wrapped in a cheerful business plan. Subaru's books are getting really popular, and bookstores are asking for a signing event. But Subaru refuses immediately. He doesn't want to deal with people. Just then, the doorbell rings. Subaru assumes it's a salesman and doesn't bother answering. So Kawase opens the door, and it's Hiroto with 3 kids. The kids introduce themselves. One boy says he's Hayato and in 3rd grade. Another one, Narume, is also in 3rd grade. Hiroto tells everyone that they're twins. The youngest is a little girl named Misora, and she's 3 years old. Hiroto explains that their parents are out for the day, so he's watching them. When he told them about Haru, they all got excited and wanted to meet her. Subaru sees a teenage girl among them, Hiroto's younger sister Nagisa, and remembers meeting her before. A short flashback shows a young Nagisa asking Hiroto to take her along somewhere. Now, all the kids are super excited and want to find Haru. Subaru tells them Haru is probably nearby, and they all rush off to search for her. Kawase wants to join in too, but Subaru pulls him back to continue picking a cover design. Kawase looks disappointed. He clearly wants to join the fun. After a while, Subaru notices how Kawase keeps distracted with all the laughter. It's obvious he wants to play with the kids, so Subaru finally decides they can take a break. Kawase lights up and runs off happily to join the others and play with Haru. Now, alone, Subaru thinks maybe he should make some tea for everyone. In the kitchen, Subaru finds Hiroto checking in his refrigerator. He scolds him, but Hiroto just remarks he's checking if Subaru is eating properly. Right at that moment, Subaru's stomach growls loudly. Hiroto finds a Chinese takeout menu and suggests they order food. Subaru's hungry stomach agrees, so he goes along with the idea. While everyone plays with Haru, Hiroto announces that Subaru is hosting a dinner party tonight. He tells everyone to pick whatever they want to eat. Subaru goes back to the kitchen to make tea. He suddenly worries if he has enough teacups for everyone. Just then, Nagisa walks in and offers to help. Subaru remembers his mom once showed him a tea set she got on a trip. She said they'd use it when guests came over. Subaru wondered if that would actually happen, but his mom was sure they'd all sit down and have tea together. Subaru finds the teacup and cracks a small smile. In the kitchen, Nagisa says she's a student librarian making a list of book recommendations and wants Subaru's pick, but he's busy hunting for tea leaves and doesn't catch her at first. When he finally gets it, panic hits. So many books he likes. Picking one feels impossible. The pressure's too much, so he dips out of the kitchen. Nagisa feels bad, thinking she asked too soon. But Subaru comes back with a book he loved when he was her age. Nagisa lights up, and Subaru feels relieved, like he finally nailed it. Evening rolls in, and food shows up. The kids chow down happily, and even Haru looks content. Subaru pulls out his special ramen, but Hayato and Narumi give him those wide eyes. No choice, he hands it over to them. After dinner, the noise cranks back up. The kids want to play hide and seek. Misora hides in Subaru's lap, and Kawase acts like she doesn't see her. Then they switch to the funny face game. Subaru surprises everyone. Because he's so deadpan, he barely laughs. He plays along, and the crew has a blast. Eventually, the kids get tired and head home. Subaru is wiped out. He just drops to the floor, looking like he caught a bad bug. Haru strolls over, looking just as beat. Subaru gently pets her, thinking she had a long day too. Subaru realizes sometimes unexpected things happen without warning, but today, all the noise and chaos brought happiness to everyone. And if he can be part of that joy, maybe it's not so bad. He glances at the poster for the autograph event and starts thinking that maybe he should go after all. Now the story shifts to Hiro's point of view. She sees Hayato and Narumi and starts panicking. To her, they are intruders in her territory. She gets ready to run, but then remembers Taro's advice to never run from danger. She stops and prepares to face them like a brave cat. Then Hiroto and Nagisa appear. Hiro freaks out even more with the idea of more intruders, but she notices that Hiroto leaves the room and feels better. The strongest enemy is gone. Now she just has to deal with the small ones. Suddenly, Misora picks her up. Haru almost scratches her, but stops when she sees her tiny, innocent face. Haru remembers Turo's words again that small ones are weak, so Haru decides not to attack her. Haru feels proud of herself. Hurting small kids isn't something she believes in. Later, when Haru wakes up after taking a nap, there's a delicious smell in the air. She follows it and sees two ladies delivering the food. The girl, named Haru there, is Hayato and Narumi's school friend. She is the same girl who used to feed Haru in the past. They happily reunite again. The girl is overjoyed to see Haru loved and healthy. After she leaves, everyone eats, and Haru joins in. They play again and include Haru with them, and Mizora plays the funny face game with Haru. Haru thinks it's a challenge, but when Mizora laughs, she gets confused, thinking if it was funny. Then, Kawase brings out a cat toy. Haru can't resist it and plays joyfully, fully enjoying herself. As night falls, Haru hides in a box, waiting for everyone to leave. Once the house is quiet, she comes out and flops down on the floor, just like Subaru. She lies down next to him and curls up on his body, feeling safe and warm. Both of them fall asleep together. The next day, Subaru finds that the kids hid his dictionary and left a silly note. He's annoyed. But then, Haru brings him food, thinking he must be hungry. Subaru is busy working on his novel, but today, he's completely stuck. He can't think of any ideas and feels really frustrated. To clear his mind, he goes into another room to pick up a reference book. But Haru is sleeping on the book. Subaru doesn't want to disturb her, so he carefully pulls the book out without waking her. Haru smiles in her sleep, which makes Subaru happy. He lies down next to her with a cushion and starts reading. Before long, he dozes off and falls asleep as well. In his dream, Subaru is a child again. He's telling his mother the story of the sun and the moon, which she used to read to him. But this time, Subaru remembers the entire story and even makes an extended version. His father listens to his story and gets impressed. With their encouragement, Subaru decides to turn his extended version into a storybook. It becomes his own sequel to The Sun and the Moon. Then his mother calls him to meet someone. Subaru finds out it's Hiroto's family visiting. His mother introduces them as new neighbors who just moved in there. The next day, Subaru is reading quietly when Hiroto suddenly shows up uninvited. He's amazed by Subaru's huge book collection. Subaru's mother arrives and tells them Hiroto will be staying until evening because his mother had to take Nagisa to the hospital. Hiroto grabs a book to read. Subaru wants to suggest a better one, but being introvert, he stays silent. Later, Hiroto asks why Subaru has so many books. Subaru answers that he wants to write his own book one day. Hiroto finds it funny and teases him about making a boom factory. Time jumps ahead to Subaru's college days. One day, during dinner, his mother asks when he'll write the next part of his story. At first, Subaru gets confused. Then he realizes his mother found his old draft while cleaning. Both his father and mother read the story. Subaru gets shocked. He didn't want anyone to read his writing yet. Upset, he storms off to his room. That night, he wakes up remembering how much his parents liked his story. Feeling inspired, he sits down and starts writing again. Later, Subaru submits the story to a writing contest. He wins the grand prize. His parents are incredibly proud of him. Back in the present, Subaru wakes up from the dream. He's surprised because he never had such a realistic dream before. Suddenly, a loud crash comes from the kitchen. Subaru rushes in and finds Hiroto on the floor, with Haru standing over him, clearly pissed off. Hiroto says he tried sneaking in through the back door, but almost stepped on Haru's tail. Trying to dodge her, he slipped and spilled all the food he brought. Subaru thinks Hiroto always brings chaos with him. Chaos might as well be his middle name. Subaru just forgot to read the fine print when they became friends. Hiroto says his folks are out and he brought a bunch of food to share. While they clean up the mess, Subaru spots another copy of his Sun and the Moon sequel. He's shocked and asks Hiroto about it. Hiroto admits he borrowed it ages ago and forgot to give it back. Subaru doesn't even remember lending it, but Hiroto reminds him he was too deep in another book back then. Hiroto brings up an old memory. One day, on his way home, he saw Subaru walking and reading at the same time, looking kind of weird. Hiroto tried to ignore him, but Subaru ended up falling into a river. Hiroto rushed over to help, but Subaru didn't care about getting wet. Instead, Subaru handed him the book and told him to keep it safe. Subaru doesn't remember that, but Hiroto says that's when their friendship really started. At first, Hiroto thought Subaru was weird, but later realized he's actually pretty interesting. Then Subaru tries to call Haru over, but she ignores him. Subaru calls her again. This time she jumps, but instead of landing soft, she kicks Subaru in the face and knocks him down. Subaru falls, tries to get up, then passes out. When Subaru wakes up, it's dark. Kyauro is sitting nearby. Kawase shows up too, looking worried. He says he came after hearing Subaru passed out. When they ask what happened, Subaru remembers falling asleep in the cold, but keeps quiet. Hiroto checks his temperature, and it's normal now. Kawase came prepared with medicine and even cooked some food for Subaru. He switches out Subaru's ice pillow and tells him to rest. He also reminds Subaru to change his clothes. Subaru listens, puts a cold patch on his forehead, and lies back down. From the kitchen, he hears Kawase and Hiroto arguing. Kawase is angry because Hiroto added eggshells to the omelet. Subaru tries to ignore their noisy cooking. Haru climbs onto Subaru's chest and sits down. Just then, Subaru hears their laughter. He smiles, thinking his home, once quiet and lonely, is now filled with laughter, warmth, and friendship. It looks like Subaru's quiet life just got a serious upgrade. Now, the story shifts to Haru's point of view. She wakes up in the cold evening and sees Subaru sleeping. She thinks he must be hungry too. Wanting to help, she starts searching the house for food. While searching in the dark, Haru eventually gets stuck in the carpet. She runs to the back door just as Hiroto enters. He steps on the carpet, trips, and falls. However, Haru gets free, who quickly escapes to the top of a shelf. Subaru comes in and blames Hiroto for the chaos. Haru watches Subaru wake up but feels bad because she has no food for him. When Subaru calls her, she wants to wait until she has food for him, but he calls again. Haru becomes distressed. Thinking he had a bad dream, Haru jumps on him to protect him, but accidentally knocks him out again. Later, Haru sees Subaru sleeping peacefully. She sits on his chest and apologizes for kicking him. She promises to protect him from scary dreams. Of course, Subaru can't understand her words, but her presence calms him. Then Haru smells food. Hiroto is holding the fish can. Haru heads toward him. Meanwhile, Kawase sneaks into Subaru's room and wraps a green onion around his neck, a strange old remedy for fevers. Haru watches Subaru closely, because today, he acts different. He wakes up early and gets dressed. Haru feels confused. She doesn't know where he's going. She wants to say something but stays quiet and watches him struggle with a necktie. After failing, Subaru gives up and leaves the tie behind. Haru decides to follow him. As Subaru walks out, he turns around and tells Haru that he left extra food for her, but Haru doesn't understand. From her side, Subaru seems rude. She feels angry. She stops caring about what Subaru is doing. Now alone, Haru decides to rest, thinking no one will bother her. While she rests, she hears Taro's voice. He calls out and tells her to come play. Haru ignores him. Taro says he feels lonely and wants company. But Haru doesn't understand the word lonely. She knows she is alone too, but doesn't know why it feels strange. Later, a man walks by on the street. Taro knows him and runs over happily. Haru feels relieved. With Taro busy, she can go back to sleep. But peace doesn't last. Evening comes, and Haru wakes up hungry. She eats the food Subaru left, but it's not enough. She still feels hungry, so she starts looking for Subaru. She checks his usual spots, his desk and his bed. When Haru gets into Subaru's bed, she finds it warm and cozy. She remembers what Taro said earlier about being lonely. Now she understands the empty feeling, its loneliness, but she believes she can live alone because she is strong. She tells herself she is just worried about Subaru. Even with her brave thoughts, she misses him. Later that night, when she hears the door, she runs, hoping Subaru is back, but it's the neighbors getting back home. Haru feels sad and angry. She starts tearing things apart, leaving a big mess. Taro watches her, worried about her sudden rage. In a cat's world, this is what betrayal looks like. At the same time, Subaru is at his autograph event. Kawase introduces him to the crowd. Subaru feels nervous again. He thinks maybe this was a mistake. But Kawase stays close and helps calm him down. Subaru takes a deep breath and gets ready. The first fan walks up and asks for an autograph. Subaru's hand starts shaking. He fumbles but signs the notebook. The fan is kind and doesn't mind. More fans come next. Subaru quietly signs each book. He doesn't talk much, but his presence brings joy. Kawase handles the event smoothly behind him. Then a small child steps up. The child is shy but full of admiration. Subaru feels moved by the child's courage. He stands up, thanks the child, and signs the notebook with care. The line gets shorter as the event nears its end. After it's over, Subaru feels down. So many people came, but he feels like he didn't do enough. He regrets not speaking more or thanking them properly. Kawase tells him that feeling regret means he's learning. Mistakes are part of it, and what matters is trying to do better. Subaru feels a little better. As things calm down, Subaru starts thinking about Haru. He has never been away from her for this long. He starts to imagine her at home. and guilt grows inside him. Just then, Kawase brings another fan over. It's Okami. She sees Subaru and feels awkward. She remembers all the times she praised his books without knowing he wrote them. Subaru also feels guilty for hiding the truth. They talk but keep misunderstanding each other. Both feel they made the other uncomfortable. The confusion grows until Subaru suddenly tells the truth. He says he panicked when she praised his writing and didn't know how to react, so he left. Kawase steps in and clears up the mix-up. He reminds them why they're here. Subaru signs her book properly. Okami thanks him and promises to keep supporting him. As she walks away, Subaru realizes he forgot to thank her. He gathers courage and calls out to her loudly. Okami hears him, and Subaru finally feels at peace. Subaru wins over his social anxiety. Kawase praises him for speaking up. Not long ago, he would have stayed quiet. Now, he's learning to speak for himself. Subaru knows he can't change the past, but he can manage the future. He thinks that being brave is the first step to change. He thanks Kawase, and Kawase gets emotional. Later that night, Subaru returns home. The moment he steps inside, he sees the mess. Papers and things are scattered everywhere. For a second, he thinks someone broke in the house, but then he remembers Haru. He calls her name and finds her curled up inside his jacket. However, Subaru doesn't scold her. Instead, he smiles and laughs it off. From Haru's point of view, it all makes sense. Subaru left without warning. She got angry, destroyed the house, and then hid in his jacket to calm down. She fell asleep and dreamed of her old life, of being with her siblings, of losing them, of walking forward alone. In her dream, she motivates herself to keep going. Then she hears someone calling her name. At first, she thinks it's food, but it's Subaru. Haru wakes up and sees Subaru smiling at her. He looks so cheerful that Haru thinks he must be hungry. She leads him to her food bowl, but it is empty. Haru decides to let him eat first. Then she remembers she's hungry as well. Haru decides to eat, and all her anger fades away. After that, Hiroto visits Subaru's house. Subaru is completely drained from the long day. Hiroto sees him lying on the floor and imagines a dramatic scene. Maybe Subaru has been defeated in some epic way. But before the moment gets any more dramatic, Haru jumps out from the tissue box and attacks him. Subaru is sleeping peacefully, but Haru keeps making noise to wake him up. Subaru feels annoyed. He thinks everything is finally done now. No stress, no deadlines. He gets up, checks his phone, and sees a message from Hiroto. Narumi and her friend are coming over again soon. Just as he starts to react, the doorbell rings. Subaru shouts in frustration. The scene shifts, and Narumi and Haru greet Subaru, feeling sorry for waking him. Subaru looks exhausted but says it's fine. Narumi happily says they've brought food again, not just for Haru but also for Subaru this time. Subaru feels surprised but accepts it. He thanks them and wonders how they knew he needed food. Narumi says her brother thinks Subaru always needs more food. Haru quickly runs toward the food smell, but Subaru stops her. Haru understands human food is too salty for cats. Subaru wonders if he has ever shared his food with her before, or if he has ever made something especially for her. Haru then gets a big idea. She decides to cook food for Haru the cat, just like she used to cook in the past. Subaru agrees and Haru gets excited. In the kitchen, Haru explains each cooking step to Subaru and Narumi. Subaru feels impressed by her skills. Haru asks Subaru to give her another dish for the soup. But then Haru the cat climbs up on the kitchen counter. Everyone feels worried that she might fall. Subaru acts quickly and takes Haru outside to keep her safe. But Haru doesn't give up. She tries to rush back in, so Subaru gently holds her back. But after that, dinner is ready. The smell fills the room. Before they eat, they quietly thank the universe. Subaru watches them and joins in too. So, our Mr. Antisocial just joins the gratitude club. When he takes the first bite, he feels amazed. It tastes delicious. Narumi notices Subaru isn't eating much. She points it out. And Subaru admits something important. He doesn't feel like eating when he's alone. Haru feels the same and says eating alone is hard for her too. Narumi says it's not like she doesn't like her mother's food, but she usually ends up eating in her room alone because her family works in the restaurant. Haru explains how everything changed when Haru the cat starts coming. Her mother taught her to cook, so Haru wouldn't eat alone. She still remembers how Haru the cat looked happy when she first cooked for her. Ever since then, she makes sure she enjoys her food like Haru. Baru realizes since Haru the cat arrived, he eats more regularly too. Narumi says maybe Haru will run her mother's restaurant one day. Baru says she isn't sure. She thinks her mother cooked so well and she doesn't think she can replace her. But Subaru encourages her, saying that her food is already amazing. Haru feels happy and proud. Seeing her, Subaru then remembers how his own mother used to ask him if the food she made was good. Even small compliments made her so happy and proud. He now wishes he had complimented her more genuinely. Later, Haru the cat sees something interesting on the table. She climbs onto Subaru's lap and curls up there to sleep. Narumi and Haru feel very happy watching this peaceful moment. Before they leave, Subaru asks them how to cook like Haru. Narumi and Haru get happy and promise to send the recipes tomorrow. After they go, Subaru washes all the dishes. He thinks it's been a long time since he has used a lot of dishes. He remembers eating with his parents and decides maybe he should have dinner with people more often. The next morning, Subaru goes to get the newspaper. Haru makes a lot of noise again. He gives her breakfast and heads to the kitchen. There he finds a shiny and colorful recipe book that Narumi and Haru made just for him and dropped it off before school. Subaru wants to cook something using the book, but first he needs to buy ingredients. At the market, Subaru holds the recipe book carefully. He's nervous, it's his first time shopping for cooking. A little girl sees the book and thinks it's cute. Subaru starts buying the things he needs. But suddenly, there's a loud voice announcing a sale. A big crowd rushes in and pulls Subaru along with it. He tries to escape but ends up confused at a chicken stall. While he picks one of the options, some samplers approach him. Subaru feels overwhelmed. However, she manages to escape from there. As he stands outside, feeling exhausted, Hiroto appears. He sees Subaru carrying a lot of things. Hiroto helps by putting some things back, explaining Subaru doesn't need so much since he lives alone. Subaru is deeply touched by this act. Before leaving, Subaru gives Hiroto some sausages as a gift. Back home, Subaru starts cooking. The recipe says the food should be in small pieces, easy for a cat to eat. Subaru goes to Haru and checks her mouth size using a scale, trying to get it just right. He's seriously using science to cook for a cat. After that, he finishes chopping. While cooking, Subaru starts to wonder if he can really make something good for Haru. He remembers how Haru, the kid, cooked for her. If she can do it, then he can do it too. But he ends up cutting his fingers. He wraps them in bandages and starts to lose confidence. Then, he hears Haru crying. She's hungry and walking around the house. Subaru pulls himself together and starts cooking again. Finally, the food is ready. Subaru places the bowl in front of Haru, but she sniffs it and walks away. Subaru feels crushed, but a moment later he sees Haru eating the food quietly in the corner. Subaru feels happy and relieved. Now the story shifts to Haru's side. She sees Subaru still sleeping and not eating. She gets worried and makes noise to wake him up. The doorbell rings and Narumi and Haru arrive. After that, Haru smells food and runs to the table. Subaru stops her, and she realizes Subaru needs to eat right now. Later, when everyone is cooking in the kitchen, Haru feels confused and climbs onto the kitchen counter to see what's going on. Subaru tries to stop her. Haru thinks she's being attacked and gets ready to fight, but Subaru shows up like a hero and takes her outside. Haru feels angry and starts thinking about how he's blocking her from entering the kitchen. Once the food is ready, she runs back full of energy. She finds it delicious. After eating, she realizes she didn't share it with Subaru. She climbs up to say sorry, but then sees more food on the table. She thinks Subaru already has plenty, so she was worried for nothing. Next day, Haru notices Subaru is gone all day. When he returns, he heads straight to the kitchen. Haru worries he hasn't eaten again. She decides to find food for him. But when Subaru checks her mouth size again, Haru panics. She thinks she's trying to find food inside her. Haru runs off and searches the kitchen. She finds something in the cabinet, but Subaru gently stops her. Feeling annoyed, she hides under the table. Evening comes and Haru is starving. Subaru brings fresh food. It smells just like the one from yesterday. Haru really wants to eat, but she decides to wait until Subaru eats first. When he finally eats, she joins him. The food tastes just as good as before. They both finish their meals, feeling happy and relaxed. Subaru finishes his novel and places it on the table, but instead of feeling relief, he looks worried. He remembers Kawase telling him the last autograph event went really well and that they should do another one. But for that, Subaru needs to write a new story. He stresses because it took so long to create the story he just finished. To clear his head, Subaru goes outside. He looks around and sees some blue flowers in the garden. He pauses, wondering if these flowers were always here. In fact, they've been in the garden for years, but Subaru never noticed them before. Better late than never. He picks up the shower and starts watering the plants. While doing that, he starts thinking, what could be the next move for his assassin cat character? But then he accidentally splashes water through the window on Haru and terrifies her. Subaru looks at Haru and tries to think of story ideas again. But while he's distracted, the shower also sprays the neighbor's dog, Taro. The dog's owner quickly comes over and tells Subaru to stop. Taro is soaking wet. Subaru apologizes, but surprisingly, the neighbor also apologizes. She explains that she has been secretly watering Subaru's garden for a long time because she thought nobody was taking care of it. Subaru realizes how the garden stays green even though he never waters it. The neighbor points out to a blue flower, tells Subaru that his mother planted that flower. In a flashback, Subaru's mother is planting flowers. She tells the neighbor that Subaru loves the color blue, and when the flowers bloom, he will be happy. The neighbor says Subaru's mother used to bring back seeds from her travels and took great care of the garden. Back in the present, Subaru feels a wave of sadness. His mother had put so much love into this garden and he never even noticed. Later, Subaru goes inside and looks around. Haru isn't in her usual spot. Subaru gets worried that maybe he scared her too much with the water. As he looks around the house, he spots something near the door. For a second, he thinks it might be a burglar, but it turns out to be Kawase. Kawase tells him that someone outside is calling Subaru's name. Subaru gets confused because only Hiroto calls him by his first name. Then a young boy walks in and kneels down to apologize. Subaru and Kawase are shocked until Subaru realizes it's Yugo, the younger brother of Okami. After that, Yugo explains that the first time he met Subaru, he thought Subaru was a thief and grabbed him. But after finding out that Subaru is a famous writer, Yugo felt really bad and now wants to apologize. Subaru reassures him it's fine. Yugo remarks he really enjoys Subaru's books. Subaru feels touched. Saying thank you is difficult for him, but he manages to say it. Just then, Haru walks into the room and jumps into Yugo's lap. Kawase gets shocked because Haru never comes to him. Then Haru walks near Kawase, but turns away at the last moment, which leaves Kawase heartbroken. Subaru thinks about how much he has changed. He goes outside, talks to people, and even receives praise, all thanks to Haru. After Yugo leaves, Kawase jokes that Haru looked happy with Yugo. Maybe he knows a trick to attract cats. Subaru tells him Haru is always nice to Yugo. Kawase almost cries, feeling left out. Then he asks Subaru if he has any ideas for his new story. Subaru gets worried and apologizes. Kawase suggests going out for a change of perspective, but then laughs, thinking Subaru would never agree. But to his surprise, Subaru agrees, saying it might be a good idea. Kawase gets shocked, but happy. He tells Subaru to let him know where he wants to go and he will arrange everything. Subaru agreed to go outside. Someone write this down. History is being made. That evening, Subaru feeds Haru and thinks about where he should go. He goes into the garden and notices a small empty pot without flowers in the corner. He walks over and picks up the label, which says, Tokushima. Suddenly, he remembers this was the trip his parents were planning before they died. Subaru tells Kawase to book a flight to Tokushima, but now he has a new problem. Who will take care of Haru while he's gone? In a flashback, Subaru tells Okami that he's going on a 2-day trip, but doesn't want to leave Haru alone. Okami suggests a pet hotel, but first, Subaru has to get Haru into her carrier. He tries to use snacks to lure her. Haru goes in, but her tail blocks the door. Before he can shut it, she jumps out and his plan fails. The next day, Hiroto comes over. Subaru explains how and when to feed Haru. Hiroto understands everything quickly. Meanwhile, Kawase calls and gives the hotel address. The hotel is in Tokushima, and it's the same one his parents had booked 3 years ago. When Subaru arrives, a lady asks if he'd booked a room back then. Subaru remarks that maybe his parents did it. The lady remembers it and tells him a room for 3 people was booked, but one booking was canceled on the travel day. Subaru realizes that his parents had booked a room for him too. He thinks about how his mother always invited him until the very last moment. Even for this trip, they booked a spot for him. Outside, Subaru sees indigo dye. The lady asks if he likes blue, as his sweater is blue as well. Subaru remembers his mother had praised him for wearing that sweater. As he walks through the town, he sees more blue clothes. He remembers his mother noticing when the color of his sweater began to fade. Now, looking around, he sees all the things his parents wanted to show him. But he also feels sad, because no matter how much he wants to ask or share, his parents are no longer around to answer. Back in the hotel, Subaru starts writing in his diary. He thinks maybe he should have brought Haru with him. She always sits on his lap when he writes. Meanwhile, Haru does her usual routine at home. She notices Subaru isn't back yet, but isn't worried. She finds his jacket and curls up on it, falling asleep. The next morning, Subaru gets ready to return home. Before leaving, he asks if he can get some flower seeds to plant in his garden. The lady tells him the flower shop is in the opposite direction of the airport and the weather is bad, but an old lady offers flowers from her own garden. After that, Subaru heads to the airport, only to learn that all flights are canceled because of a storm. Looks like Mother Nature just canceled Subaru's escape plan. After that, Subaru gets on a train. He calls Hiroto and tells him to take care of Haru because the weather is really bad and getting worse. Meanwhile, Haru stands near the door, thinking Subaru should have arrived by morning, but he hasn't come yet. Suddenly, a loud noise comes from outside. Haru looks out and sees strong winds and a terrible storm. At that time, Haru comforts them. Now, in the present, Haru worries that Subaru might be in trouble because of the storm. The door opens and Haru thinks Subaru is back, but it is Hiroto who comes to check on her. Haru remembers how Subaru often falls sick, and now he is out in this storm. So she runs outside to look for him. Hiroto sees Haru running and decides to go after her. Outside, Haru keeps searching for Subaru in the storm, even though Subaru wouldn't want Haru to go out. The way a cat cares so much about a human shows how deep their bond is. Haru proves once again that she's not just a cat. She's a small superhero with trust issues. At the same time, Subaru hears from Hiroto that Haru has gone outside. Subaru becomes worried. Hiroto offers to go find Haru, but Subaru stops him, saying Haru will come back on her own. But then Subaru sees cars and starts to panic. He once lost his parents in an accident. He can't let anything bad happen to Haru, so he decides to go look for her. Haru keeps looking for Subaru through the storm. On the other side, Subaru searches for Haru too. The storm makes Subaru more nervous, but he stays calm and asks people if they have seen a cat. Most people are too busy protecting themselves from the storm and don't notice a cat walking around. While searching, Subaru gets a call from Kawase. Kawase says Hiroto has told her Haru is missing, so she will wait at Subaru's home in case Haru returns. Hiroto will check the area since he knows it well. Kawase also tells Subaru to check places where cats usually go. Subaru visits Okami and says Haru is missing. Okami and his brother Yugo quickly start checking places where Haru might be. Meanwhile, Subaru goes back to the graveyard where he first met Haru. He places food there, hoping she will smell it and come. Subaru calls out for Haru at the graveyard. Haru is also calling out for Subaru. Suddenly, a strong gust of wind blows and Haru falls into a ditch. Luckily, she lands on the side and not in the water, but the walls of the ditch are high and she cannot climb out. The wind howls around her, and Haru feels afraid she might fall into the water. She sits down, scared and unsure of what to do. Just then, she hears Subaru's voice. Her eyes light up and she begins calling out to him. Subaru hears her cries and rushes toward the sound. When Subaru spots Haru, his face lights up with joy. He tries to lift her, but he slips and falls into the ditch himself. However, he holds on to Haru and makes sure nothing happens to her. They both feel a wave of relief and happiness. Subaru silently thanks the universe for keeping Haru safe. Soon, everyone else arrives at the scene. Hiroto helps pull Subaru out of the ditch. Then, Subaru and Haru both come out safely. Later, Kawase is seen preparing ramen for everyone. Haru takes a bath and gets squeaky clean, which sends Kawase into a delighted frenzy. As usual, Haru gives Kawase a little scolding glare. Everyone eats dinner together joyfully. Haru also enjoys her food. After dinner, everyone takes their leave. Before that, everyone expresses their gratitude to Soru for everything he did for them. But Soru interrupts and expresses his own thanks to everyone for their support. Next, we see the same story, but from Haru's point of view. When she is trapped in the ditch, Subaru shows up. Haru tries to warn him not to come closer because it's dangerous, but Subaru falls in while trying to rescue her. This frightens Haru, but she quickly checks and sees he is fine. Subaru looks so relieved to find Haru. Haru notices how shaken he is. She tries to comfort him and silently assures him that everything will be all right because she is there. But as time passes, Haru becomes worried because Subaru is still stuck and hasn't moved much. She begins to wonder if Subaru is hungry or too weak to climb out. Just then, the others arrive and rescue them both. Haru feels relieved when she sees Yugo. It means Subaru is safe. Then, Kawase gives Haru a bath. As everyone knows, cats hate water. She will remember this betrayal forever. After the bath, Haru shines like new. Kawase is thrilled by how clean she looks, almost acting silly with excitement. Once everyone leaves, Subaru sits quietly and thinks about how nice it feels when someone is there for you or says something kind. Because of Haru, Subaru has changed a lot. He remembers the people who helped him and all the good memories he now has. He sees that his world is no longer just the four walls of his home. It has become bigger because of Haru. The next day, Subaru's mother's garden is full of life, green and bright. Subaru plants the indigo flowers he brought from Tokushima. Then, Kawase is seen talking to a colleague. The colleague asks if Subu has started a new novel. Kawase replies that he has, and the title is Family. After that, Subu writes his novel while Haru sleeps quietly on his lap. They both make a promise to always protect each other. They decide that if one of them feels scared or in danger, the other will bring comfort and make them smile. Subaru ends his thoughts by saying he will always stay with Haru because she is his roommate, a cat who sleeps on his lap and sometimes a bit wild in the head. Subaru once believed that peace came from silence, but now he knows it comes from a cat sitting on your lap like she owns everything. Thanks for watching. Check out this next video, and remember to subscribe Annie Zap.